Yo, what's up guys? Casey Mo. Let's have a little chat. So one of my most frequently asked questions is what is the best bass design? And that, my friend, is a hard question to answer. There really is no best bass design, and it goes way more in depth than just that. You need to be asking yourselves, who is this bass design for? What bass is best for this location? How do your basses interact with each other? Is your bass good for online raids? Offline raids? And one thing I've tried to explain in previous videos is most people are thinking about this all wrong. Stop trying to build the best bass, but try to build the best bass for your location. And stop building a single bass. Instead, build many basses, smaller basses. It's all about the synergy between your basses, instead of making a single bass hard to offline raid.
But Casey, if I don't make my bass hard to raid, then people will just offline raid me.
Well, sir, on the contrary, if you're getting raided offline and they're getting all your loot, that's your fault. I'll show you why in a sec here. So in this video, I'm gonna be going over why I build for mobility and defendability, where I like to build, and why it's a better idea to build multiple bases, even if they're smaller. Let's do this, boys. All right, so offline raids. Let's talk about offline raids for a sec here. So many people bitching about offline raids. All right, listen. If you're getting offline raided and you're getting all your loot stolen overnight when you're not on, that is your fault. Yeah, you heard me. That's your fault. You need to be hiding your loot. Most people build these big bases and it's obvious where your loot is going to be. They have a target. You're giving them a target. Stop doing that. So your main base is what you operate out during the day. When you log out, you need to switch your loot to a different location because people are going to see you active inside of your base. They're going to see what you're doing. They're going to see you moving around your main base, and that's the base that they're going to hit, you know? So a couple suggestions for hiding your loot. You can hide them in your towers. I hide my loot in my towers all the time, and they have never been offline raided. You can create raided bases, like fake raided bases, and stashes. This is a good one, brought to you by Sergeant Solge. So if you guys didn't know, you can actually place anything over small stashes. So if you just place down a bunch of them, then you could literally place anything over them. So I'm not gonna give away too many things here because I want you guys to think of your own ideas. If I just give you guys what I do, then it's not really gonna work for you guys either because people will see this video. So get creative with this. Try to place different things on top of these stashes. Here's just one example. You can place foundations over your small stashes. You'll have to pickaxe through it in the morning, but that's the price you're gonna have to pay for not getting offline raided.
But Casey, what about the cheaters, the ESPers? They're gonna find your stuff overnight.
Look, man, I've been playing this game for a long time. I have almost 4,000 hours, and it's been a long time since I've been offline raided and they got my loot. You need to make sure you leave a little taste, just a little bit in your main base. That way it satisfies their quench and doesn't leave them looking for more. But if you guys use this technique and hide your loot when you log out, I guarantee you'll be much more successful keeping your loot overnight. All right, cupboards. Let's talk about cupboards for a sec because normally offline raids happen because people don't place their cupboards correctly. You need to be placing your cupboards around your base, as many as you can, but keep in mind that people can use these for cover, which is super annoying. So one thing I like to do is place a few wooden barricades just right around it and try to fuck them up as much as you can because you don't want people to use your advantages against you. Wooden barricades are super cheap. No one's gonna flame this shit down so they can use your cupboards for cover. Just farm the wood and place these all over your cupboards. If they do flame them down, they're super cheap. You can just replace them. Not a big deal. So one thing you have to understand is most people that play this game are very experienced. Most people have hundreds of hours or thousands of hours. So if you're just starting out, if you're just starting to build, make sure you guys watch this video because I cover a lot of important details that you might not know, might not have thought about, but that'll help you tremendously from getting offline raided. All right, location. Let's talk about this. So where you build is probably the most important thing you can choose when building that week. You need to find somewhere that's a high elevation, somewhere that doesn't have mountains around you on top of you. You don't want people shooting down on you from those mountains. There's no point in having a tower if other people get a height advantage on you with those mountains around you. You need to make sure you have plenty of resources around, so trees, rock nodes, animals. If you guys didn't know, they have these kind of cliffside mountain things where a ton of nodes spawn. A lot of times they spawn faster than you can even farm them. So look out for these, they look like this. So if you can find a spot next to one of these rock formations and next to a forest, this is prime location. All right, so one of the main things I want to talk about in this video is base synergy. All right, so this is what I built on Rusty Moose a couple weeks ago. This is not the exact base that I built, but this is the same seed, this is the same location. I have the bases located in the same exact spots. So this is my main base, quote unquote main base. This is where we operate out of. This is where we would defend a raid. This is where we're the most active during the day, of course. And during the night, I put my loot in here. I put my loot in here. I put my loot in here. And I put my loot in here. So the two obvious places that someone might raid would be this base or this base. This space would maybe be more likely because we're more active in this one compared to our Griff Tower here. But this should just give you guys an idea of what to do when you log out. So let's talk about base location real quick. So notice I have my 4 towers, 1, 2, 3, 4. So no matter the location of the enemy, I have vision everywhere. They all have 360-degree vision. So it doesn't matter where an enemy hides, I'm going to be able to see them in one of these towers. All right. One other thing to take note of are my barricades. I have these barricades placed here for a reason, because these rocks can potentially be very, very annoying when we're fighting. So any advantages that any attackers can potentially have, I want to take those away. So that's what these spikes are doing. They are wood, but I live in a forest, so wood is not a problem. The amount of spikes I have here is actually way less compared to how many I actually had during that week on Rusty Moose. And we have a rad town just over here in this area, so that's why I wasn't able to build all the way over here. Otherwise, I would have some spikes here, here, and I'd probably even have a tower right there too. So if you're wondering why, that's why. So all 4 towers have easy visibility in all 4 directions, and no matter where the enemies are, I can shoot them in any direction. Normally during a raid, most of our defenders would be in these 4 towers. It's way easier to shoot enemies from behind when they're trying to bust through than it is to shoot down. Because in order to fight back, they're gonna have to turn around and start shooting me. So I hope this gives you guys kind of a few ideas here. I'm gonna give you guys a tour around just to kind of show you the defenses and the battlements I have, just to show you kind of what sort of visibility I have in these towers to defend my main base and whatnot. So let's go take a look. All right, so let's talk about the main base first. This is the main base right here. We're not going to do a tour on the whole thing, just the battlements and stuff like that. So you can see I have windows pretty much everywhere. There's no reason not to have a window somewhere. You know, if you don't put a window somewhere, you know, that's going to be the one time where there's going to be someone over there and, you know, you're going to lose the raid because of that one time. So just put windows everywhere. I just prefer windows everywhere. It's what I like to do. And then notice we got the doors here. Super easy to shoot down. Also super easy to lose your gun though. So just make sure you don't die right there because your gun can fall out very easily. We have the grate right here, easy to see where enemies are sneaking up at, and you can, you know, kind of pre-fire them if you need to. I have the ladder hatches in this direction because I want to be able to shoot right up on my base. Better than a little further, but just personal preference, whatever you prefer. Then going up here, we have the roofs kind of acting as like stairs sort of thing. I'm using these gates here because if you use a door, you have to crouch through with this. It makes it super easy to, you know, get through. And over here in the sides, these don't really need a code lock just because you can't get through them when they're open. So I just have them just like that, just to block that area. These are somewhat cheap, but if they're going to tower raid me, they're going to need to take over a cupboard first. And I have double stack cupboards in here, so I'm not too worried about it. So, all right, so going up this way. So this is just kind of added protection. I have these stairs here. These stairs make it super easy to fight back. You could put walls here. I wanted to keep the cost down somewhat, so this is just what I had. But if you want to make it a little bit more defensive, you can add walls there instead of just railings, because as of right now, you can get shot right there and, you know, maybe over there or something. And, you know, it just depends on how much stone you want to spend on your base. So normally with my group, we don't have a whole lot of stone to spend. So this is just kind of what we did that one week. So But feel free to improvise and kind of make your own twist on, you know, something like this. So this is the tower that we had. Show you what it looks like here. You got plenty of angles here, shoot like that. But I like to fight up here a little bit more. This is a little bit easier to fight. These little cracks here make it super easy. See, the way they work is if you say you're shooting someone just like right at that rock right there, for example, you can easily peek like that or like that. You know, you got a lot of angles to shoot from right here. You can also shoot down, you know, somewhat easy here. There's so many different ways to build this, you know, the same base, the same footprint, but this is just what we did that one week, and you know, the next week or the week after, it'll probably be different, and it's really just personal preference. This is what I like to do, and you guys can build it however you'd like to do. So, and this is the furnace base design that I normally like to do. It's somewhat simple, it's fairly easy to build, and it's somewhat cheap as well. So it's not too roomy in there. I don't need a lot of room in there. We got a little loot room right here, store all our ore in here. I'm gonna just put metal in here though, to be honest. And then just the regular furnace, put some hemp right there. That's the furnace base. And then next up we have the Griff Tower. No doors on it, just because I built this just to show you guys the battlements and stuff like that. But show you guys how this works here. Got the honeycomb here and then the square right there kind of overlapping. We got kind of a cool little shooting area here. Easier to peek, you know, harder for them to shoot you. Same sort of deal right here. And then we got those stairs again right here. These have got to be my favorite thing. So they can see me, but I also can see them and they can't shoot me. You know, it just hits the stairs and you can pre-fire them. See if they're right there, you know. Using this, you can also see down on, you know, different angles right here. If you come up here, you can see down pretty well if they're right there. And then one other thing I like to do when using these stairs is I like to put double doors right here. Is if you're right here, they could potentially just aim at your head and then you can't really peek. So that's why you got to use this, you know, and you can kind of sneak up. You have so many different angles, and you know, you can shoot from so many different places. You don't have to worry about them pre-firing you when they're down there. If they're down there, if they're in your area, you need to be able to cuck them, and you should be able to dick on them pretty freaking hard. If you're not able to shoot them down super easy when they're in your territory, you're doing something wrong. So just make sure you got towers all around your base. You know, you don't want to be able to hide behind any rocks and stuff like that. So make sure you have these barricades and whatnot. Let's see if there's anything else I need to show off on here. I think that's pretty much it. Pretty basic tower. Roof access, always important. And these towers I've been using a lot. So you got the airlock, come in here. And the reason I like hiding my loot here is it's super hard to get into. I mean, you really need cupboard access. They would need to build up and they need to guess where to blow into. Got the fireman chute right here, easy to come down. Can't jump up this, you can't Spider-Man jump up this. I'm just gonna fly up here, and then this is the top level. So same thing with the stairs. These I would recommend putting locks on. You don't want them to take over your tower and then shoot out of these things. So put code locks on them, maybe even metal doors. Super easy to defend the main base, shoot right there. You have angles everywhere, so there's not really a spot where they can hide from you. Anywhere they can hide, I have barricades there. So I do have the roof open. So for any heli attacks, we normally don't even get a chance to shoot them just because there's a lot bigger groups than us and they normally take it down way before we even get a chance to fight them. So I got the roofs open. And then here's just another tower. This is an improvised tower. It's on a rock. So I just kind of place whatever sort of foundations you can place, build it as big as you can, as big as you can afford. And this is just kind of what I came up with this formation. You know, they're all pretty much the same, you know. Nothing too fancy, you just gotta work with what you have. Everything is focused on the main base. If we're gonna get attacked, if we're gonna get raided, online of course, it's gonna be at this base. Offline, like we said, they're not gonna get anything because there's nothing in this main base. One other thing I wanted to talk about, this is that rock formation that we talked about earlier. This Rock formation spawns a lot of nodes in. Didn't really have to worry about nodes too much this wipe, but there were bases down here, you know, and we would get shot while we're farming. Normally we don't like to farm with guns because, you know, that's how you get ganked, that's how you lose your guns. Normally we have someone right here protecting us while we are farming, so you have perfect view of this whole entire mountain. If someone's trying to sneak up on us with crossbows, super easy to just snipe them down. So for those of you guys who made it this far, I have a little bonus clip just for you at the end. But I just want to say thanks real quick for watching this far. I know it might have been a little dry, a little boring, but it's so hard to cover so much information in such a short video. And I really only touched the tip of the iceberg in this video. But I hope this helped you guys out. You guys learned at least one thing. It'd be super cool if you guys could help me out with a like, so I know if you guys are enjoying what I'm putting out. Anyways, this is KC Mo, and you guys are watching KC Mo TV.
Bonus clip.
All right, so I wasn't going to show this off because this is a little bit OP in my opinion, but for those of you guys who stayed to the end of the video, I thought I'd give you guys a little reward for being good fans. So with cupboards, say I blow into this base. Of course I can't build up because I'm building blocked, but blow into the base, now I have building access. And now I'm top of the base, and you can easily just blow them through the top. So what some people like to do is they will stack their cupboards. So now, if I gain access to this one, I can build up here. But I can't build up here, but this gives me access to maybe blow on there and boost up if I wanted to. See, now I have access to this one, all right? So the trick I'm gonna show you is going to make it so you can't build up whatsoever. My friend Infinix showed me this. I'll leave his YouTube in the description below if you guys want to check him out. So the distance that you can place the cupboards between each other is actually not 2 floors. It's 1.5. You can't place it through the floor there. All right, so there we go. Now we have 3 cupboards in here. But why is this so overpowered, you ask? Well, I'll show you. All right. So now I'm raiding. Blow into this wall, gain access to this cupboard. All right, now I want to build up. Bam, I can't. And the reason why is because they changed the way the building privilege works. So now instead of, the way it used to be is if you're outside, if your body's outside of the building privilege, then you can build inside. But now these stairs are inside where I'm building blocked, so I cannot build. The only thing I can build is this, and this is not going to help me. There's nothing that's going to do for me. So I can't build stairs, I can't build walls, can't build anything. I can't build pillars, I can't build doorways, I can't build, I can't build anything. The only thing I can build is this, and that's not going to do shit for me. So in order to raid this base, if I want to get to the top, I'm going to have to raid this. I have to guess where the cupboard is. It could be in any one of these 9 squares. And I need to get this one. Now, if I want to go even higher, you're going to have to raid up here, head jump, and then you're going to have to figure out which tile the next cupboard is. So you can do this one of 2 ways. You can also do it like this, if you guys know how to raise the elevation with stairs. It's pretty simple. I'm sure a lot of you guys already knew about this, but what you might have not have thought about was that with the new way building privilege works, this makes it pretty overpowered. One thing I do recommend though, try to place your cupboards in all different areas. That way, if they gain access to the bottom one, they can't just go straight up and get access to all of your cupboards. What's going on, guys? KC Mo here. So I've seen way too many easy to raid bases. So in this video, I'm going to teach you guys how to not suck at building. But Casey, I have thousands of hours in Rust and I already know how to build. Well, listen up here, son. Because I've seen people with over 5,000 hours in Rust still messing up their base designs. I have a video I'll link in the description where I raid some of the most experienced players in the game without using a drop of explosives.